Good Tuesday, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of Pins on Campus. I am Mark Jeffries, along with Jonathan Byer, and we're going to talk college bowling and anything else that we want to talk about. Jonathan, man, I guess we got to let everybody know. Look, we pumped up that we were going to have CJ Petrin on the show. He's bowling league. Got called in, I guess, to sub. He is back in Tennessee, getting ready to prepare for his rookie season. And I got a text from him, and we're going to move him to next Tuesday.
Yep.
So that means that you and I are going to talk college bowling and anything else that we want to talk about. So, but before we get started on that, a lot of thoughts. I know a lot of people in the college bowling community, especially in this region. Our thoughts are with you as it was unfortunate. You lost your dad, and I know Dad was a big contributor to the bowling community in Texas and was a big part of your life. So our thoughts are with you, man, and hope things are going okay. He's in a great place now, and you got a lot of friends behind you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been a huge outpouring of support so far. Part of that is because everybody loved him, right? So that makes it a hard process to get around everybody. But from all the people I used to bowl college with as teammates and all the coaches I had and other people that got to meet him along the way, whether it's high school or college, it's been incredible support. And we even have one of the bowling balls he shot 300 with sitting on the desk here tonight. So
that's cool.
I felt like that'd be a little cool honorary piece right there. The support's been fantastic, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that's reached out. And I know it's probably going to go on for weeks and maybe months, but I may not have the words to respond at that given time, but it is appreciated.
Yeah, and even when I spoke with CJ told me that he had a chance to speak with you or text you, and you and CJ, I mean, you were former teammates, right?
That's right. Yep,
yeah.
We were.
So we may have to hear a story or two from you this evening, since CJ won't be around and he won't be able to pass it off to something else.
That's right. I can open up a few stories this week that we can get answers on next week. You can fact check me a little bit.
We'll find out about that. All right. So a lot of stuff going on in the college bowling world. You and I and 14 other programs and a number of women's programs are headed to the SWIBC championships, and for the first time hosted at Holiday Lanes here in Oklahoma City. And dude, I'm here to I've been working my tail off. I mean, this building, all right, I know people are going to get there and they're going to go, what? A wood side and a new side? I call it the vintage side and the new side. So the women, they're going to be on the vintage side. Guys are going to be over on the new side. And it's going to be good times, man. I had last night, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking here, but I got to tell you this. I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like 1:15. And couldn't go back to sleep because I started thinking, we're going to have like 5 bowling balls and 5 bowling balls and spare balls and, the 6th, 7th, and 8th players, their bowling balls. We don't have enough room on the rack.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we could put 10 bowling balls on the rack. They're brand new ball returns on the new side. So today I frantically went to Home Depot. Oh, dude, I dialed one up on this one and created a very unique, very functional, very true looking way to add 4 additional bowling balls to the rack. Not in the way, no need for ball cups. Okay. And we're actually going to keep them there. We're going to keep them there. Now, on the vintage side, Jonathan, for the women that will be bowling, they're going to have plenty of room. All right. They're going to have plenty of room. Yeah, I know they're sure pick ball returns. Is that a blast from the past right there?
Yeah.
The A-shaped sure picks.
Yeah.
All right, but here's the good news. And folks, for anybody that might be listening and for the people that may listen to the replay after this event, we are going above and beyond to try and make this as good and comfortable of an event that a player could have. And part of the reason why I'm doing it is because I'm putting myself in the player's position. And if I was a player, how would I want to be treated for the first time that some of these players have been to Holiday Lanes? That's kind of how I'm approaching it.
Good stance. Yeah.
So,
the biggest gripe we always have is the bowling equipment, where we're putting it, where we're moving it, tripping over
that's
it.
not going to be a problem.
9 yards. Yeah.
I went and spent $3,000 on shelving.
That'd be nice. We'll have a place to store all of our stuff. It's going to be great. We're looking forward. I guess we're the lucky team. We've bowled at Holiday before, so
yes, you have.
We know what to expect. But
so that's going on. A lot of people gearing up for the Hoosier. Is that right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of NCAA stuff going on right now, getting ready to happen. And then we build to the month of March for sectionals. And I see no reason why both of us are not going to be in Fort Worth. And we've actually talked about that. And currently, do you know who on the men's side is the number one team in the nation, according to the USBC collegiate rankings?
Is it still Purdue?
It is not. They're blue blood.
Oh, well, that narrows it down.
Well, here, I'll give you the enormous without you looking. I'll give you the enormous clue. They're defending national champions.
I don't even know who won last year, Mark.
What?
I'm so dialed in on what our program's doing. I'm not watching anybody.
Oh, that's good. That's good response there, dude. All right. What if I was wrong? What if I'm wrong that they're not defending national champions? But I think they are. I believe they are. You're gonna look it up?
I am.
You're gonna verify my notation?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that you're correct here. Number one team would be Wisconsin Whitewater.
Defending champs, I believe.
Are they?
Oh, I'm sure you're looking that up too to see if I'm
totally
out of my mind. And I can tell you who they beat. They beat Wichita State.
Okay, I do remember that.
Am I right?
You're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. So it goes Wisconsin Whitewater here. You want me to flash them up? I guess I can flash.
Sure.
All right. We could talk a little bit about this. Entire screen. Share. All right. There we go. So let me see if I can do this. Make it a little larger there. How about that?
There you go. That's nice there.
Yeah. So this is week 19. So Wisconsin Whitewater, Mount Mercy, and let's see. Let's do the old click here. What was their last tournament? I mean, look at their performance.
The one in Chicago a couple weeks ago.
So look at their performance. Okay, in the tier ones, third, 11th, second. And then in their tier two, second, 11th, fourth, second, ninth, first. It's pretty stout.
That's strong. Yeah, that's real strong.
They have one of the top players in the country, the U.S. amateur champion. Do you know who that is?
Bryce Oliver?
No.
Again, Mark, I'm not in tune with other programs that have going on.
Hey, come on, man. All right, here. Right there. Dawson Peterson.
Oh, yeah. There he is. I can see that. It's behind the camera.
In fact, we will, once I move back here, we will take a look at the individual players here in a minute. But Wisconsin Whitewater, Mount Mercy, Newman, who is going to be part of the field at the SWIBC Championship. Wichita State, Lawrence Tech, St. Ambrose, Indiana Tech, St. Francis, Purdue. And I think Purdue dropped down. I mean, they're like top 3, I think, but they only have 8 events with 4 tier 1s. Calumet, Weber, SCAD, St. Xavier, Marion, Trine, Marion, McKendree. Oh, and there's SNU in 18th. The only non-blue blood. The only non-blue blood. Once again, in the top 20. All right. So, field is stacked, man. I know you have been focused on your program and everything, but man, this goes back to my basketball roots. Okay. I'm a film guy. Love watching film. Love doing research on teams. Love identifying players and key matchups on how you can defeat teams based upon the matchups. You know, offense, defensively. Does a guy like jacking up the 3? Does he have a left hand? Does he like, the paint? Is he penetrate and kick? All this stuff. So any chance that I get to do a little research on what's going on with some of these teams, I do it. And quite honestly, the field is stacked this year. It really is.
Yeah.
Now you can at least attest to the fact that this is truly a stacked field this year. Agree?
100%.
I mean, and here you have Oklahoma Christian in 21st. I just think anybody in the top 25, the whole top 25 is stacked. There's not a weakness in that top 25.
All those teams have a chance.
Or do they? Ho. Do we want to get into that discussion? No, we don't.
Not yet. Maybe a couple weeks.
Let's look at the players. Is this any surprise? Carter Street?
No.
37 games. He's at 226. Look at Josh Hammonds. Now, do you know where Josh Hammonds got his start? Josh Hammonds, Wichita State. They have 2 players in the top 5. Do you know where he got his start collegiately?
No. Mm-mm.
Kansas. There's a nice trivia fact right there for you. And then
hey, it might be something that we need to poll later.
Yeah. Okay. Number 7, Louis Paisano, Wisconsin Whitewater. All right, 53 games, 219. I know Louis, no bones about it. He was at SNU for a little while. And I'm going to be brutally honest here, Jonathan. I want to see what he does without urethane. Okay? And we can dabble in that little swimming pool a little bit. The fact that urethane is not going to be allowed at sectionals. Now, I'm not taking anything away from his game. His game is really, really good. Yeah. But how much of his game, as with other players, is totally reliable or rely upon urethane?
Well, it goes back to getting into what I just brought up a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago. I said, well, all these teams have a chance. You said, well, do they? Well, the first comment that comes to my mind is, because we've seen it this year throughout events we've bowled, there are a lot of teams who are very reliant on urethane.
Yes, they are.
That's where they make their money. That's where they shine, if, for example. But here in a month's time, that's not going to be an option. So I think it becomes more about the teams who maybe make their money somewhere else, or the ones that can pivot really quickly, because a lot of teams are still throwing it because we'll burn them if you got them, throughout the rest of the season. Especially, it wouldn't surprise me if you go watch the Hoosier, right? You're going to see a lot of teams still throwing it because they still can. Now, I think it'll be interesting to see which teams go ahead and omit it from their arsenals because they're trying to prepare for not having it. That's a discussion as well. I know.
Is that the smart thing? Is that what you would do?
That's what our teams going into this weekend, Mark. We're coming up to Oklahoma City, where pretty much all the urethanes are going to be left at home because, we need to realize that the reality of the situation we're going to walk into, the one that matters, not that this tournament doesn't matter, but the greater goal is performing well at sectionals, right? So we need to prepare ourselves to do that. And the best way to do that is not use the tools that you can't use. So it's a discussion that could go on forever, but that's an interesting take. You talk about the individual players. I think more about the teams as a whole that don't necessarily know how to live without it.
Yeah. I will give Louis some props, though. Major props. When you look at everybody in the top 15, with the exception of Akiona, he's got one more game. All right. Louis has 53 games, and he's still averaging 219. It's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
I mean, I saw him in Vegas, and he was throwing a bunch of urethane.
Yep.
As were a number of people. So time will tell on the quest to make the top 4 in each sectional to qualify for nationals and how much that's going to come into play.
Yeah, the when you get over that 30 game mark, that's really where you start to get to that point where, okay, that average is true. He's not just walking into that.
Yeah, I get it. So kind of a look. I mean, you could go back, and I did, because this is how goofy I am when it comes to research and stuff. I went back and I found it buried, the rankings from 10 years ago. And same schools were up there, dude. Same schools.
I'm waiting to see the PowerPoints formula that comes out that Frank does. I don't know, Mark, if you've seen that before, but he puts it on the Collegiate Shootout website, and he has a little bit of a different system, but it takes into account the teams that you beat as well, more of an RPI-based system, I guess you would. He doesn't have it out for the men yet. The women's standings have been out, but I'm going to be interested to see that one too, because I always feel like that one is a little bit more true depiction of actual rankings from like 1 to 200 than what we necessarily see on the USBC site. So we'll share that one, I guess, when it becomes available. I checked this morning. It wasn't there yet, but usually around this time of year, that'll pop up.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a question, and we can get into this, or you can go, let's throw the flag. We'll defer or whatever. Okay. Should NCAA women's teams be allowed to compete in USBC collegiate events? You want to talk about it, or you just want to throw it off to the side? What do you think?
I mean, I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I don't think they should be allowed to like divide up the teams and I don't know the best way to say it, because I'm not 100% in their world how their systems work, but it's been described to me this way, and I might be totally wrong. But they can have a portion of the team go bowl an event and a portion of the other team go bowl a USBC event.
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, bowling's bowling, and you're going to have to beat the best at some point. And so I don't have a problem with them in events. I find the whole postseason involvement with them more of maybe a topic of discussion. But I would say on your regular season tournaments, it's if you want to be top dog, you got to beat the best of the best. Doesn't matter what division they're bowling in, because the rest of us all bowl amongst D1, D2, D3 schools, NAIA schools, club, pure club programs. The rest of us are in a giant bucket. So throwing the NCAA schools, that doesn't really make a big difference to me on a tournament to tournament basis.
Okay. I disagree. And here's why.
But I will say this too. Let me end with this.
Okay.
I think it's a difference when you're talking about, hey, they can come bowl our tournaments, but we can't bowl theirs kind of situation as well because of the different conditions. Yeah. But that's a nitpicky thing.
No. Let me explain my reasoning behind what I'm going to say. All right. Okay. Does Nebraska have the same resources that either one of us have? from a women's program perspective?
No.
Do they have the scholarship pool of money like we do?
No.
Do they have the financial resources in place because of the allotted budgets that are a requirement based upon, a lot of stuff that goes on the NCAA side? Do we have that?
Nope.
So just because of those three things that I mentioned, the talent level at the NCAA is going to be the best talent in the nation. Agree or disagree?
I agree. Yeah, for sure.
So then unless it is, and I'm going to use a baseball comparison, a rehab assignment in AA Lodi, why would you have the best in the country have the opportunity to compete with the people that are playing down in AA?
Well, I got something that'll kind of maybe make you think about that a little bit.
Okay.
So if because all those three questions you just asked, now if you ask the same question about our programs versus Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah.
We're on the same side as the NCAA teams compared to them on all three of those questions as well.
My rebuttal to that is there's no lower level than what we're in, though.
True. That is true. Yeah. I mean,
they have no other place to go. They have no other place to go.
No.
Okay. But the NCAA, that is the best of the best. Come on, man. When we've been at recruiting trips that you and I have went to, and we're watching the high school players, what are you and I both saying? Oh, she's NCAA.
Yeah.
She's NCAA. Yeah. We have no chance at her. She's NCAA. They're the best of the best. They're at an NCAA program of which goes a lot of hard work, a lot of prestige, a lot of deserving value in being a student athlete at those universities. Play in your own swimming pool. Okay.
I always tell the recruits we talk to who are considering either the NCAA route or the USBC route is just the different levels of commitment and what you're walking into. But if bowling is your life, then yes, the NCAA teams are a great option for you. You're going to have really good resources. You're going to be well coached no matter where you go. You're going to get a chance to bowl a lot of events. Not for everybody, but not only are they going to get the best talent just based on what they can recruit, but they're also going to be the programs that get the phone calls first as well.
But that comes with a well-deserved historical performance by those programs, though, at the highest level that collegiate bowling has. So my point is, look, you have worked as a student athlete and as a program to get the best players in the world. Let's face it, in the world, because look at the international players that are at NCAA schools now. But at the same time, you have some USBC collegiate women's programs that are really, really good also.
Yeah.
Okay. With the resources, and maybe comparable to some NCAA programs. But, I take Mount Mercy for an example. Incredible history on the women's side, but lower tiered. Now, can they compete with some of the NCAA teams? Absolutely. And come on, we all know what the competition is like at certain events. Agreed?
Agreed.
All right. So, you could get me started on something that I'd probably get a bunch of hate mail on, but I believe that if you work extremely hard and you are rewarded based upon the work that you put in, and you have deserved the opportunity and what you make out of that opportunity at one of those high-tiered NCAA schools, man, you have an enormous amount to be proud of. You do. Okay? And if you are a coach at one of those programs, you have an enormous amount to be proud of also. But at the same time, you're not going to see the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Oklahoma Sooners playing, St. Bethune of Florida.
Right.
You're just not. And somebody can come back and they can give me the argument about, well, look at all the college football teams that play these very low tier teams early in the season. And the reason that is done is because of the amount of money that those schools are getting because they're playing a University of Oklahoma or a University of Texas. Or
yeah,
whatever.
We don't get paid to get beat by those teams.
No. No. I'm not saying anything's wrong. I'm just saying, look, you guys are the cream of the crop. You're the best that exist in the worlds of women's collegiate bowling. Battle it out.
Yeah, the whole situation just seems super odd to me. I guess would be the best way to describe it. And I haven't been around long enough to understand why it exists that way. I'm sure there's an explanation.
Sports, though, Jonathan. sports.
Yeah. And so I agree with what you're saying. And in the bowling sense, somebody's probably got a reasoning somewhere on why that exists. But if from just a bowling coach view that exists in the systems and sees how this all unfolds, because I agree with you from a sports perspective, it's just very, very odd. Yeah. I don't know.
I get it. Competition makes you better. Agree.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
But getting your head kicked in 10 out of 10 times does not make you better.
But when they come bowl a regular season event here and there, is that really costing all those other teams a whole lot?
What do you mean?
Like let's say, I know this doesn't happen now with the way the tournaments were, but let's go back to last year and let's say LA Tech, OC, and Tulane come bowl this WIBC weekend, the first weekend.
Yeah.
Does them bowling that weekend, and that used to be the only time we really ever saw NCAA teams around our stuff, them bowling that weekend really cost all those other women's programs that much?
No.
So, I mean, there's that argument too. It's now, like I said, where I have maybe a bigger argument of issue of what's going on is them taking away postseason opportunities from those teams when you get to that, like sectionals advancing spots. But from a pure regular season event perspective, I don't think it really cost those other teams that much opportunity.
Well, I don't think the premise of this discussion is not about what it deters from the opportunity. No, that's not what I'm saying. My premise
is the power imbalance that exists.
You guys are the best of the best. There is no doubt in this country they are the best of the best. Then do your thing. I mean, is there any doubt? They could have all saved money and stayed at home, and they could have this little, triple threat match between La Tech, Tulane, and whoever else, Oklahoma Christian, and probably get more competitiveness out of it, get more reps in, promote it, live stream it, get a sponsor for it, make some money, sell the digital rights. Now you got something.
Yeah.
The Bayou Bash or whatever,
Insert name here.
I just, you know what? I respect everything that they have done for a student athlete to reach that level. Okay. Stay at that level. Stay at that level.
Yeah.
And if somebody disagrees with me, great. I would respect your disagreement. But
that's fair. Yeah.
That's why these things are up for discussion. Speaking of discussion, right? We have discovered a new way for our CBAA events.
Yeah. Do you want me to get into this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I credit, and I think you may have mentioned something about it last week, I credit my players greatly on this system because without their input and them just starting the discussion, we wouldn't even have come or considered this, right?
Yeah.
And my player said, hey, we've bowled a few now, and we worry about the feasibility of total pinfall keeping matches competitive. I'm like, let's think about this some more. So we broke down the 2 matches we had, the one we had against Drury. We looked at each period, the singles, the doubles, the Baker team, how all that played out. And then they brought up, well, what if we assign, since everything's about a matchup within the match, right, with your round robin games, your showcase games, and your Baker games, why don't we assign a point value to each of those items? So I was like, that sounds great. We'll figure it out. We've talked about it a little bit back and forth. And then last week after the show, me and Mark were just talking about whatever, burnt toast, as you like to say, just chatting it up. And I mentioned something about it. And he's like, well, what if we simulate some of this to see how the matches would have turned out? So we came up with a point system. I ran them against the previous matches, and the scores all came out, I guess, closer on paper than necessarily would have been with the total pinfall. But if you break down how each period fell, it kept it very competitive from the very beginning to the very end. Mm-hmm. And so I think how it worked out for our second match was you guys won by, I want to say, was it 77? Yeah, 77 pins was what you guys won by in that match. But if we went with the point system, we would have won 98 points to 94 points.
NBA score.
Yes, exactly. Our first match was also within 6 points. You guys had a 6-point lead on us on that. So think about that. That would have come down to the very last Baker game.
Yeah.
Because we would have been tied before that last game. And then the Drury match, instead of it being a 400 pin gap, was I think it turned out to be an 11 or 12 point difference between the teams. So the point system seems like a much better way to keep things competitive throughout the match. But since the emphasis is on winning your match in the round robin, the showcase, and the Baker, that's what earns the points. It just makes perfect sense to me.
So explain the point system, how it works.
So each of the round robin games is worth 4 points. So, me and Mark bowl game 1 and I beat him. That's 4 points for DBU. The showcase matches, so the one after singles and the one after doubles, is worth 8 points. And then each of the Baker games is worth 6 points. And so what I've seen is it totals up to, I think, 196 is what they totaled up to, 198 or something like that between the two teams. So if you split that down the middle. Obviously, we've bowled some variations with 8 Baker games, some variations with 10 Baker games. So obviously that's a 12-point swing on the potential total between the two teams there. But like you said, Mark, NBA score, it's much more like a normal score you'd see on CBS, Fox Sports recapping the next day than 12,800 to 12,400 or something like that.
Too many pins,
which makes, in my world, and Mark knows this, I'm a graphical guy. Our team, we're very into all that stuff. Makes making the graphics easier because you don't need space for a 5-digit number. You just need a space for a 3-digit number. But I think we're going to try this, Mark, here in a couple months, and so we'll get another shot to see how it plays out in real time.
Not a couple.
Oh yeah,
we want to tune it up, man.
Yeah,
we gotta see if we can get a date to where we can get a tune-up in.
It's February already.
I know. It's flying by.
I know. Crazy.
It will almost be time to fish.
It's getting there. But I'll give my players credit again. Without their feedback, and I think that's what's really cool about this whole development process, Mark, is without their feedback, we wouldn't even come across or even thought of this system and seen what it could do.
Do you agree that we're gonna go with that? That's really the right thing to do? Yeah,
because you think about how many points are available. You have 60. Let's say we do the 10 Baker games, and you have 60 points available in the Baker, and there's almost no mathematical way. I guess it's possible, but you're not going to see it. Somebody to be down by 60 points before the last period. So it pretty much gives everybody still a chance by the time you get to Baker games to even to have a chance to win.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And do you remember who the player was that brought it up? Who was it?
Yes, it was Noah. Noah Raleigh Turner. Bold 2 years
Major
at Newman's,
props to
transferred
him.
to DBU. Yeah.
Yeah, major
The
props.
first mention of it was actually, I want to say it was in our van ride back from St. Louis, maybe. And we just started chatting.
Oh,
and
when we
that
had
point
the
system
bad
came up.
sunset going over. And,
Oh, yeah.
oh, that was brutal.
So very few teams had to go our direction. But
Yeah.
that drive home from St. Louis through southern Missouri, you're driving, straight southwest, and obviously in November, the sun is going to be right in that spot.
It was
and every
brutal.
time you would crest a mountain or the hill, it was brutal because these vans aren't known for, having big enough sunshades or, the tinting on the top of the windshield to help. It was interesting. But what was hilarious was we were on speakerphone with each other between our team and your team because we got to find a way to pass the time, right? and cut up and tell stories. And every time you guys were about 4 miles in front of us, you get to a point where you're like, oh, no. And then we, 5 minutes later, we'd pull up to the same point. It was hilarious. Then we got to stop at Buc-ee's together.
Oh, yeah.
And that was fun. So
and then
I think that was the start of that conversation, was that trip.
Yeah.
And it kind of just continued a couple times. And after the Drury match, we picked it back up and said, yeah, we need to come up with something that's going to, be close to that. So,
well, brilliant move. And we're going to get a chance, an opportunity to test it out for the first time.
Yep.
In the month of March. All right. Let's see here. A little PBA news. We're a couple of weeks away from the first event on tour. We're going to have CJ on, but next week he'll kind of give us some insight on what he's doing to prepare for it. But they did have an announcement. They announced a CEO of the PBA.
Did you read up on his history?
Peter Murray. He's got let's see, MMA background. Is that right? Mm-hmm. He worked for Under Armour too. I think I saw something about Under Armour.
Mm-hmm. He also worked at the NFL for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's got some chops. He's what I don't know. There's 2 names that stick out to me in his bio from when I read, and I had to pull it up to make sure I had the names right. But when he was at Under Armour, he was responsible for the signing of the deals of Steph Curry and Clayton Kershaw, which, every household names in sports nowadays. And so he also had brand partnerships when he was with the Fighting League, with Geico, DraftKings, stuff like that. Streaming, he actually sold the streaming rights of that to ESPN. And I think, let me see if I have this correct. Yeah, ESPN and NBC. So he's got media rights experience. He's got brand endorsement experience. When he's in the NFL, he's involved with the New York Jets, obviously one of the biggest franchises in the National Football League. So you put all those things together, for him to be the CEO of the PBA, that's a lot of chops.
He had a little bit of a stint in the private equity world also.
Which nowadays in sports, no matter what level you're at, you have to have that.
So. Yeah. Private investment funds, and the guy's got a ton of stuff.
Here's what stuck out to me is obviously when the announcement came out, people saw, okay, new PBA CEO, and that was the headline. That's what people saw. But if you read the article, you saw he was named the CEO and head of media.
Yeah.
For the PBA. Did you notice that? That was a unique little thing thrown in there because of all the streaming partnership experience he's had in the past. I kind of like the idea of what might be in the works there. Obviously, brand new relationship with the CW this year as well. I guess we can get into that in a second. But I think this is a really interesting move at a really interesting time. And I'm optimistic about it, at least. I mean, you go read the Facebook comments, and old timers aren't so optimistic about the future of the PBA. But I do really, really like this hire. I know he wasn't really open to answering a lot of questions or thing or doing a lot of interviews yet. I mean, obviously it's a brand new position for him.
Yeah.
But over time, I think we're going to see the benefit of this hire at this time. We just need to give it a little bit of time to grow.
So is this an indication that Bolero, Lucky Strike are going to put more emphasis and promotion into the PBA, or is this what caught my attention was his ability to, when he was with the fighting league, what was it? The PFL? Is that what it was called?
PFL. Yep.
When he was with the PFL, he did some partnerships with, who was it? Anheuser-Busch was one of them. I think Geico was another one.
Geico, DraftKings was one. I remember that one. Yep.
So what tie-in currently, and even think about last year, was there brand association with the sponsorship of the PBA? Come on, there's one that sticks out.
Oh, brands that partnered with the PBA last year?
I mean, come on, man. When you first heard about it, you're like, what?
The Crazy Sock Company.
That's one of them. Okay.
Wait, it's on back here. Hold on. Oh, Chris Barnes is on TV right now. They had, what was the...
they're big in fishing, too.
That food company?
No.
That tells you how good the partnerships are. We can't name them all.
Oh, I could, because I was like,
think about years back when you think PBA Tour. What do you think of? You think of Denny's. You think of Lumber Liquidators, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Beatbox.
No.
Beatbox was on there.
Dude Wipes.
Oh, Dude Wipes. Yeah. See, I didn't get to see that. That was on the sweeps.
Yeah.
It hadn't come down yet.
Dude Wipes.
Yeah.
No, dude. Denny's. You know,
Denny's, Lumber Liquidators, Barbasol. Yeah. They sponsored the tournament champions every year, right? Yeah. It was just, yeah. But I think a lot of this, you talked about Lucky Strike, you talked about Bolero, and that company.
Yeah.
People may forget or they don't know because it's not publicly listed anymore. I think it's a private company that owns them now, but it's Lucky Strike Entertainment. That's the corporation name. So they're in the entertainment business. And so I think obviously the PBA, form of sports entertainment, a sports entertainment property.
It's not wrestling, dude.
I think they're going to be, I think they're going to be very aggressive, or at least I hope, and maybe this is just me being optimistic, doing some special things this next couple of years with it.
What is every player that makes the show now they're going to have a nickname? You know, like CJ the Hammer Petrin or whatever.
I hope it doesn't become a wrestling type thing. You have these cards and stuff, but
Mr. Buffer out there introducing the players.
I think what excites me the most is the partnerships, both with the brands, but also the streaming partnerships. I think that is the expertise and the guided leadership that was needed in the PBA. And you've heard too, if you've talked to tour players, I even think maybe Chris Prather mentioned something about it last week. They very rarely got to talk with the CEO directly before. He said that Tom Clark was kind of their liaison between. I think you're going to see Peter Murray much more involved and have that dialogue with the players and the Players Association or committee or whatever it was on a more frequent basis. So I think that's going to be helpful as well.
CEOs don't do that, man.
No, but how
you're talking
think about the leadership structure of the PBA. How many people does he really have to talk to?
Tom Clark. That's it.
Well, yeah.
I'm talking about the players. It's Tom and Tony Lanning.
Yeah.
What was the?
I'm interested to see how this works.
What was the lady's name that was there? I can't remember. She was like the chief marketing officer or whatever. Cannot remember her name.
I can't either.
She would be at a few of the events. Coletti? Is that her name? I don't know. My bad. I can't remember her name. But anyway, she was on that deal where senior leadership, like CEOs of companies, would actually take a job in their company at like the lowest levels.
Undercover boss.
Yeah. That's good. I can remember that. She was on that.
No.
She was like worked at the desk and was a porter for a little while, pin chaser, whatever. She went back in the back and worked with one of the mechanics. But they didn't know who she was. And I think now she's got a gig with the WNBA, actually. I don't even think she's with the PBA anymore. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I think
I'm optimistic. I think it's a good thing.
They have a huge challenge ahead of them. I think losing the Fox deal was a big part of what I would classify the recovery phase. They're going to have to recover from that. And the CW,
can I give you a hot take?
What's that?
I think this CW deal they have now is going to be better than the Fox deal was eventually. Can I tell you why?
Why?
I don't think Fox treated the PBA the right way. I don't think they promoted their events very well. I don't think the time slots they offered were very good. I think they made scheduling maybe a little more difficult. On the CW, and I don't know how many people really know this, the CW is an over-the-air broadcast channel. You could get a coat hanger and tinfoil, tie it into your TV, and get the CW channel anywhere in the country, right? So, and they have a great app as well. And so it's going to be accessible to a lot of people. You know, like when bowling was on FS1, if you didn't have a major streaming service or cable, are you going to watch the Sunday show? No. You'll watch it on YouTube a couple days later, whenever it's posted, or weeks later or whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. The CW is going to have a challenge because of just its properties in which it owns of promoting the events internally. So it's going to fall on the shoulders of a lot of external people and organizations. But I think the product they're going to have that's going to be over the air and available to a wide audience is eventually going to be a good thing in the long run.
The company that owns the CW also owns a lot of local stations in specific markets. And as I recall, those local stations, like they actually own one here in Oklahoma. They own Channel 4, the NBC affiliate.
Yeah.
During
they have a lot of
the
NBC
news,
affiliates.
Okay, during the news, toward the end of the newscast, they would actually promote the next NASCAR event that was going to be on the CW.
Yeah.
You would also see commercials promoting the NASCAR events on that local station that's owned by the company that owns the CW. Okay. This is my rebut to what you just said. My rebuttal. I have not seen one promo about anything bowling, and we're 2 weeks away from the start of the tour. Now, if you wanted to capture the attention of an audience because you have this great tool, because the company that owns the CW also owns all these local stations in specific markets, okay, I am hopeful that next week or a week and a half, we start to see some promotions by these local stations that refer people to the PBA time slot on the CW. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I've seen nothing. Have you?
Yeah, I have not either.
Have you seen the NASCAR stuff, though?
I've seen a few things, but that's because I've mostly, I follow that a little closer. I'm in the algorithm.
No,
if you
I know.
will. I'm going to see some of that stuff on social. I'm not seeing it much on the TV. But you talked about the NASCAR deal with the CW, and because I know that world pretty good, I will say the benefit it's had for what was the Xfinity series, it's now the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, that middle series in NASCAR, your Saturday races, is before what would happen, and the PBA still has this to some degree, we'll see how it develops. But before what happened is, the first third of the year you have it on one network. Then the middle third you have it on another network, and then the last third of the year you have it on another network. And so people would get confused of where to find the races. Well, this year, from Daytona to Phoenix, every single race in the Xfinity Series was on the CW. So on a Saturday, where to. Now you still had to know what time, so it was up to them to promote the time, but you knew where to go to find the race. And it was the first time, I believe, and I remember seeing this graphic, in I think 4 or 5 years, that every single race had over 1 million viewers, which was a 10% increase year over year. And I credit that directly to what you're talking about, these local stations, because they're able to advertise and push it a little more internally. Now, some markets are much better than others. So, especially in the racing world, right? But bowling is pretty much everywhere. So they have a huge opportunity in front of them to use that platform well. But like you're saying, they haven't necessarily done it yet. But I will say part of that is because they've never done bowling before. They're actually having a meeting in Arlington at the ITRC, I believe, maybe next week, if I remember correctly, where the CW people are going to come in and talk to, I don't know who they're going to talk to, but obviously people within the offices there, about whatever they need to do to figure out how to do the PBA for the first time ever. So I think they're maybe hesitant on the front end because they've never done it before. And it's, unfortunately, I think it is kind of weird that meeting's happening so close to the start. I'm sure there's been conversation, but that meeting's happening so close to the first part of the season. But I think if we kind of stick this one out, I think long term, we're going to like what's happened.
Next Star is the name of the company.
That's right.
That owns the CW and all these local stations. And, last year they had a $6.2 billion merger with, who was it? Tegna? Tegna. $6.2 billion. So they got a ton of money. All right, let's see what they're going to do with it.
Have they announced the player or color commentator yet for the CW? I remember seeing things that they were looking for people or talking to people, but
there was a post out there, speculation that Kyle Sherman, they were looking at Kyle Sherman. Nobody really know. I mean, obviously some people know, but it has not been announced or anything like that. If I was guessing, I would think that Dave Ryan and Randy Peterson are going to do the CBS Sports stuff. I don't think that's going away. And I think that they're going to select somebody totally either somebody that they don't really.
CW's trying to make a splash. I think they're trying to do something different.
But let's hope they don't do something like, hire somebody out in left field that just doesn't know the game. I think it's very important to have somebody that does the color commentating that absolutely knows the game, but at the same time can really keep the interest of the person that doesn't know what a ball change is and that kind of stuff. Well, you know what I'm saying?
I would say too, like you think to some of your favorite guys who have not done it full time, but they've stepped in for a telecast or two, like Norm Duke, for example. When he was the color guy, he was fantastic. Yeah, Marshall Holman, because they can explain it in a way that's still simple enough. That it's not going to bore people to death, but keep it engaging and they're well spoken. Yeah, and that all matters. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, they got to announce it here within the next couple of weeks, probably. We'll see what happens on that. All right, back to college bowling, and then we're going to wrap things up here. I want to know something, Jonathan. What is one thing about college tournaments? And I just want one thing, and I'm not trying to, I'm not looking for a negative response. What is one thing about the current college tournaments that would make them better? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Only one?
No, just
only one.
Something that might come off the top of your head that would make the tournaments better. I didn't mean to stump you, man. You want me to go first then while you think about it?
No, I got it, but I might steal yours. If I steal it, you got to roll with it.
I will.
How about live scoring updates?
Well, that
aren't on a piece of paper taped to a wall.
That's part of it. Okay. And one of the frustrating things about being a coach, if you don't have a staff, which some people has staff or multiple players that they can utilize and stuff like that, is you have to write down the score. You got to make sure it matches up. Then you got to go, you got to drop it off at the table. Then you got to wait. And then you're wondering, okay, how much are we up? How much are we in the cut? How much are we back? And then you're all the way into about the 9th frame or 8th frame of the next game before you got to run back up to the wall and see what the standings are.
Yeah.
And it's no different in the Midwest or the Southwest or the Northeast or the West. It's pretty much the same thing. And I think that would be greatly beneficial to all parties involved, including the friends and family and fans and alumni that are wanting to see what the results are. And, and I get it. Yeah, you can go up, you can take a picture of the standings and you can throw it on a Facebook page. But then you got to search for whatever Facebook page if the tournament doesn't have a Facebook page.
Well, the problem I have, and I understand some of this is center dependent, but the technology exists where you think of systems like Lane Talk and Merck, which is the Brunswick sync system.
Yeah.
You think of those, okay, they take what's on the screen. Even Cubica has this. You could take what's on the screen, the direct link and scores, and view it on any device possible, right?
Yeah.
What I have a problem with when it comes to live scoring updates, and yes, the piece of paper thing's annoying, Facebook searching it up, is the time frame, right? How you get halfway through the next game. And if you're in that last game, I'm a coach who coaches till 2, and I'm also a coach that doesn't ever look at the standings in certain situations either, because you just should try to execute your best shot at all times, no matter what.
Yeah.
But in some situations where you're really trying to gauge how hard you need to push to make a cut, especially if you're trying to make a decision on maybe who's bowling at that time, right, and you have to wait so long, it's hard. It's really difficult. So, and there's technology out there that we could be doing it like this, I'm sure. But
but it costs money. It costs a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
It does. It costs a lot of money.
But if you're trying to have the biggest and baddest show out there and be the tournament everybody wants to go to with the best operations and it be so streamlined, then it's worth it.
I wonder, and I apologize for not knowing, I wonder what the NCAA does. I wonder if they have instant scoring updates.
I mean, I think they bought a lot of centers that they kind of either tap into the systems that do that, but I don't know. That's a great question. I'd have to ask somebody within that world that would know.
Coach Hayes would probably know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But good point. I mean, but also this goes back to a larger discussion, but they're bowling head to head most of the time, right? You're just trying to win.
Imagine that. That is what's great.
Right there. Scoreboards, Mark. Scoreboards.
That's what's great about the NCAA. It is head to head with the greatest players in the world.
You're right. In a situation in our world, somebody could be 30 lanes down that you're chasing. You have no idea what they're shooting.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what if you had a situation where scores were unofficial until all the score sheets were turned in? Would you be okay with that?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We can wait until everything's verified at the end. That's not a problem.
All right. That's something I've often wondered. Not that anybody, because believe me, if anybody tried to do this, your career would be over. I mean, you'd never be involved in bowling ever again. Somebody write down the wrong score intentionally and turn it in because, I mean, are they going back and matching up with the score sheets?
I've known it to happen.
You might be the dumbest human being on the face of the earth if you try and write down something that is incorrect on that.
Right. It's happened. I know it's happened.
It really
before.
has?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? Why would you jeopardize your entire career on pushing the pencil a little bit too hard?
Because some people don't care, Mark. Some people don't care. I don't have it in me to even consider that, but some people don't care.
Well, I think
I'm a reputation guy, so
yeah. All right,
I
you
can't
can
imagine
have that one. That's not going to be 9. You know what mine is?
What?
Just one simple thing. All right, and this is directed toward the players and toward the coaches. One simple thing. When you get finished with your water bottle or your drink,
I know where you're headed here,
or your snack pack, or your fruit pie, or your nachos, or your hot dog, or whatever, take it, throw it in the trash can. Pick up your trash and put it in the trash can.
And I'll give bowling centers that we bowl at least, Mark. I know we have similar schedules, so we bowl at a lot of the same centers. Yeah. I'll give them credit. They always give us plenty of trash cans that are very close.
Yeah.
You don't have to go far. Some are even right there. Or staff that's coming through with them. So they make it very available. It's not a bowling center problem. It's purely the will of the bowlers and coaches to
You know how much this bothers me? I have stayed after tournaments and helped the porters clean up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done it as well. Our players have done it.
It's
not right. We have multiple players that work. We have multiple players that work at bowling centers too, so they take a lot of pride in that.
Would you do that in your own house? That's what I tell my players. I said, you treat this bowling center exactly like your house, and you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. I don't. That is one thing I just don't understand, man. And for the centers,
and we see it everywhere. See it everywhere.
For the centers that let us bring in snacks, and water and all that. I mean, they don't have to do that. They could just shut everything.
They have the right
down.
to turn you away at the door with any of those things.
Yeah. So just a little respect. That's what I would change in college bowling, Jonathan.
Well, if we're getting on the topic of respect, I'd change a lot of things, but we could have a whole episode about that.
Watch what happens this weekend. All right.
Yeah.
It's going to be spotless. Okay. Spotless.
Penalize teams for leaving trash.
Spotless.
Throw the challenge flag on that.
I'm just, because it's
maybe,
our practice.
Maybe we need to give yellow flags as well to throw out for penalties.
Oh, I just, I will, and it's happened before where I go to clean up a space and say, oh, wait a minute, that was mine. I said, was that yours and that yours and that yours and that yours and that yours too? Boom, trash can. Just take care of it, man. Take care of what you are responsible to be respectful. That's it.
Simple.
Enough said.
Simple.
Treat it as if you were the owner.
Yep.
All right. That's way too much of a tangent for me. But yeah, can you tell that's a hot button? I just don't like it, man. I
don't blame me. I agree 100%.
So we will move on. All right, man. Any final thoughts? Are you good to go? Have you bowled on the pattern yet?
We did today.
I don't give me a bunch of juice, but was it okay?
I'm not going to tell you what we found, but yeah, we'll be good. We'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. What was nice and the struggle for us, Mark, practicing at the ITRC, the only struggle we have about practicing at the ITRC is there's no other center that's going to play like those lane panels.
Correct.
So we have to take everything we bowl on with a grain of salt, which is a reason that I, as a coach, rarely lay out the patterns of a tournament we're about to go to. And I might think that's crazy. People might think that's insane. Yeah. But I don't want us to develop an unrealistic expectation for what might happen. But there are a few things that you can find, especially when it comes to equipment, that might work well or not work well.
Yeah.
One thing we have started the process of now, we talked about it earlier in the show, is getting urethane out of the bag. And so, we're going to take very few of those up there with us, if any. I think maybe only one, and that's because he's left-handed. So, right out. But all the other ones I think are staying home, and we've worked a lot on hand position and things like that to kind of combat that a little bit. There's a few equipment pieces too we've worked on, but we're really trying to work on the physical game versatility a little bit to help close the gap on some of those things. And so that's why I really wanted to bowl on the pattern today to obviously decide, equipment wise, what we're going to do. I have to set a roster too. So that process, and then also just to have a little bit of confidence for these guys too, as you know, and we talked about that with Chris Prather last week. And I love this part this take that he had, but if you're not confident, you're not going to throw a good shot. It doesn't matter. So give these guys a little bit of confidence so they can step up there and kind of be prepared for what they might see. One thing that is good for us is we've bowled at Holiday before, so there's a little bit of comfort in that. We're familiar with the panels and the approaches, the sight lines and stuff like that. Familiar with the hotel as well. And so it's not going to seem super out of the ordinary for us, if you will. But yes, we bowled on it today, found a few things, and we'll see how that goes.
All right. Very nice. Good stuff.
I don't actually think, Mark, anything has me heated up this week. I don't think there's any we get to the end of every show and I have something. But this week I really –
nothing?
I think I have something. I mean, no.
Okay.
I'm calm.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. I mean, obviously, a lot of events have unfolded this week, but I think I'm calm. So, good weekend ahead of us, I hope.
You're doing well, my friend. And I know a lot of people out there, like I mentioned early at the beginning of the show, we are here for you if you need anything.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're going to have a good time this weekend. Sweeper. Are you guys coming up for the sweeper?
Yep. I might be bringing my equipment as well, Mark. I might be making an appearance.
I only got 48 spots. I'm not putting 4 people on a lane. Not going to happen. I'm limited.
Over on the wood side.
You can do that all you want. The ladies are on the wood side, so you can bowl over there if you want to. I don't care.
There we go. I'll check it out.
All right. So next week, CJ Petrin, hopefully he will not be subbing in league, and we will get his take on his rookie season. And you didn't tell any stories about CJ, man. We don't have any dirt.
Well, we played a lot of golf in our day at OC. So there's a few golf stories that we're going to have to circle. Oh, yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah. He's pretty good. There was one course that humbled him. It was Winter Creek in Blanchard, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That place is hard.
It is. A lot of water.
A lot of water. Like we say, water to the left, water to the right, not a drop to drink.
Yeah.
But we had some fun out there, but we'll have to tell some golf stories.
All right.
And I'm sure that'll lead to some interesting discussion next
All right,
week.
cool. Cool stuff. This is actually going to be the first show I'm going to try and put out on iTunes and Spotify. You know why? Because you got headphones. We have no feedback.
No feedback.
Right. So it's good. All right. And then I'm working on some good stuff for a couple of shows toward the end of February. If I can work around their schedule, definitely good stuff coming up. All right. And as always, we will continue to talk about college bowling and anything else that we want to talk about. So we will be back same time on Tuesday. Jonathan, you take care. I will see you this weekend.
That's right.
This
see you on
weekend.
Friday.
All right. That's it. We're out of here.